conventional finance in the sense it's basically based on interest. So the agreements also goes on interest. Islamic finance, as you said, it's mainly based on profits. You cannot satisfy everyone. Basically, the Sharia board who is the responsible governing body for those individual institutions. And normally in Islamic finance, they do it properly. According to my knowledge, almost more than 80%. They rely on vehicle leasing.
Okay.
Or loans, whatever it is, they go for a finance facility.
என்னென்ன செக் பாக்ஸஸ் எல்லாம் நாங்க செக் பண்ணணும் if I want to get a lease approved from a company like yours?
First thing, mainly we look into the client. Second thing is the client's repayment capacity. And third thing is the asset, the vehicle. The main thing what we as a bank we see is if it's my money, will I lend you? So it's all based on our intuition.
Intuition also.
Yeah.
These are the only criteria you check. Once this is done, you accept for that offer தானே இப்படி தானே? இதை தவிர வேற என்ன சரி?
இல்லை எப்படியுமே கஸ்டமரோட ரீபேமெண்ட் டேர்ம்ஸை பார்ப்போம், அவரோட ரிக்வெஸ்ட்டை பார்ப்போம். இது அது நிறைய டெக்னிக்கலி டீப்பாக நான் பேசிக்ஸை சொன்னேன். அவர் கட்டுற இப்போ வெஹிக்கிளோட வேல்யூவேஷன் இப்போ தேர் ஆர் சம் மெஷினரி கைண்ட் ஆஃப் திங்ஸ், ஹார்வெஸ்டர்ஸ், பேண்ட்ஸோ மிஷினரிஸ் ஆல்சோ we can give facilities. So in those cases we see the age of the equipment or the asset which it could survive. Some doesn't stay that long, like they have very short lifespans, those equipments. So those kind of equipments we should restrict the period to 2 years or 1 year. That way also, that's why basically the asset is also a main criteria which we look into. In the period, facility period, the terms also will determine.
So now all these are checked. I am paying, that is happy part, that's fine. Pay பண்ணி முடிச்சிட்டேன். Now I had the intuition, I had the intention that I need to pay this on time. I'm a person like that. Say I'm a genuine person. And also the bank also believed in me, you gave me. But I'm a business person. And business is a risk. Right? After 2 years, God forbid, I become bankrupted. எல்லாம் போச்சு போ. இப்போ I am not able to repay that. ரைட்? அந்த அமௌண்ட் இப்போ எனக்கு இந்த 2 இயர்ஸ் நான் யூஸ் பண்ண வெஹிக்கிளுக்கு நான் எனக்கு கட்டிக்கொள்ள இல்லாத ஒரு வசதி. ஏன்னா எனக்கு என்ன பர்சனல் எக்ஸ்பென்ஸே பண்ணிக்கொள்ள இல்லாத நிலைமை. நவ் what would you guys advise, or what do you guys encourage on that situation?
First thing is we might give a good rebate on your future profit. Like we might waive off your future whatever the profits you have to pay if it's a very realistic situation, as you said. And we will request you to settle it off once and for all. Either that is one option. Then to settle you can do it two ways. One is from your own funds, or you can, when you are selling the vehicle, you can fix a price. So more the rebate we give you, more the amount to your hand you will get. I guess you got it. Now for example, you say your vehicle, it's 10 million, you're selling it. Our settlement balance, I am giving it to you for 4 million. Whereas it was 5 million, but I'm giving it for 4 million. So you're getting another 1 million more. So 6 mil you will get it to your hand, 4 mil will be settled to the company or the bank. So that is one way. The other option is, now this vehicle, no way. Now there are instances where there is no balances which you could get. We are given almost a full lease, let's say, a full loan. The vehicle's value is also 1 million, so 10 million, and you have to pay the bank also 10 million. So it's difficult for you, and nobody is coming to buy either. Or some issues like that, then you can hand over the vehicle to us. We will auction it. So on a public auction, and the highest offer which we get, we will dispose it. The other option is you can refinance. In the sense, whatever the terms, it is convenient to you. If your rent or your lease amount or the installment is high, you feel it's too, now you're paying 500,000 a month. So you feel that is very heavy to me, I want to reduce it and extend the period. That way we can either reschedule it or refinance and give you a facility. So when it comes in terms of refinancing, we will be giving you an enhancement. Sometimes you can get a little bit more money also to your hand and cover up whatever the hardship you have and somewhat balance it. That's the option. Or if you don't want money to your hand, you can go for a reschedulement, whereas we will extend the period or whatever the terms you also feel comfortable, we will do that and give. So the worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario, if everything is not happening, like you are also negligent, purposefully avoiding or whatever it is, then comes the repossession. When it comes to repossession, that's what the vital part is, that we mostly, even the banks, we prefer giving leasing, because leasing is our own vehicle, we have leased it to you.
Yeah.
So in according to Sri Lankan law, we are more secured on that side. So that's why if the customer is not if the records are not maintained well, it's difficult for him to get a loan. So if it's a loan, then both parties, especially in Islamic finance, both parties should agree. So that way, it's a rare case scenario. No? So unless our intuition says that this money I will give him, he will pay back. In this then we give that musharaka facility. Mostly that's the thing that the industry practices, because mostly banks, they give leasing because of that.
Again, worst case scenario la இப்படியெல்லாம் நடக்கிற cases இருக்குதா? Maybe you can share an example if it has happened. அந்த தமிழ் மூவிஸ் எல்லாம் மாதிரி இந்த ரவுடிஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் வச்சு லீஸை கட்டாத அந்த வெஹிக்கிளை தூக்கிறோம் அப்படின்லாம் இருக்குது. அப்படியெல்லாம் நடக்கிற ரவுடிஸ் வச்சு செய்யறானு
என்ன கேஸ் இப்படித்தான். Repossession is not done by companies.
Okay.
There are agents who does it.
Okay.
They call it the seizers.
Okay.
So they are panel seizers. Each company or each bank have their own panel of seizers.
Okay.
So those people only does the seizing. But whatever it is, if something asambhavitham nadana neenga sonna mari sambhavam undu aayichinda, of course the company's name gets tarnished, or the bank's name gets tarnished. So because of that only, the bank makes sure that it's given at a right proper. Then there's a guideline also that police entry should be filed, and there are timings. There should be police officer witnessing it, and it should be videoed. Regulations vandichi. But especially, I'm happy to say, in terms of Islamic finance, it's very rare. Muslim community when it like they somehow they exchange, they give the vehicle, they sell it to a family member or cousin or a friend. Somewhat that in I don't know, I see that. I hardly see vehicles getting repossessed in Islamic financing.
Some people who get the vehicle, they after they finish paying all these payments, repayment எல்லாம் முடிச்சதுக்கு பிறகு, they again release the vehicle தானே. How does this concept work in terms of Sharia, not banking?
That's why I said earlier also,
Purpose.
Simply purpose.
Again, everything boils down to purpose.
Of course, purpose is the main vital thing in Islamic finance. Purpose and main.
Okay. Now, I mean, vehicle the prices on the skyrocket ஆகிக்குது, right? இந்த prices எல்லாத்தோடையும் match பண்ண போக்குல வந்து இன்னைக்கு prices மேல போக்குல, இப்போ ஒரு சாதாரணமா ஒரு 10 million 10-15 million ஒரு vehicle இன்னைக்கு 25 million, right? அப்ப இந்த prices மேல போக்குல நாங்க அந்த ரீபேமெண்ட் அமௌண்ட் அந்த ரேட் லீஸ் ரேட் இதுவும் வந்து ஹை ஆகுமா இல்லாட்டி?
That's a good question. அதுதான் நீங்க ஃபெசிலிட்டி ஒன்று எடுக்கக்குள்ள, you should make sure to ask the bank and you should clarify whether it's a fixed rate facility or a floating rate facility, variable rate facility. What we practice is mostly we give fixed rate, 5 years fixed, this is it. But some banks, what they do is they give variable. So according to Sri Lankan economy, if the rate varies, normally they have a 6 months review, 1 year review. So on the 6 months AWPLR in the average weighted prime lending rate, you call it. That's the central bank's rate that they announce, this rate, or you cannot go below that. Whatever it is, you can keep your margin and give it. So அந்த AWPLR நாங்கள் மெயின்டைன் பண்ணுறதுல அப்படின்னா கொடுக்குற ரேட்டில் தான் அதோட இது இருக்குது. ஸோ அதில் ஏடபிள்யூபிஎல்ஆர் மாறலாம். ஏடபிள்யூபிஎல்ஆர் வந்து சென்ட்ரல் பேங்க்கில் கொடுக்குற லோவஸ்ட் ரேட் விச் த பேங்க்ஸ் ஆர் அலவுட். தட்ஸ் த கவர்னிங் பார்ட் ஆஃப் த சென்ட்ரல் பேங்க் which they allow the institution. You should not come below this. Banks has the capacity. எங்களுக்கு normally in Sri Lanka, for example, the profit rates goes at 12%, 11%, 10% அப்படி. But the bank has the capacity, the 12% sense, central bank AWPLR will be 8%. So we have a 2% margin, kind of, it goes on like that. But the bank has the capacity to go below that also. But the central bank doesn't allow it. Then it might shake the economy, though there are a lot of in detailed back cuts on that. அதனால அந்த AWPLRல 6 months 1 year ரிவ்யூவில் ரேட் மாறலாம். சென்ட்ரல் பேங்க் ரிவ்யூ பண்ணுற இதில் இப்போ இருக்கிற ரேட்டில் 6 months போகிறோம். ஸோ நீங்கள் ஃபிக்ஸ்ட் ரேட் போட்டிங்கன்னா மாறாது.
ஃபிக்ஸ்ட் ரேட், ஃப்ளோட்டிங் ரேட், ஃபிக்ஸ்ட் ரேட் போட்டிங்கன்னு சொன்னால்
நீ பேசின அமௌண்ட் அதே ரெண்டோ அதே இன்ஸ்டால்மெண்ட் தான் உங்களுக்கு 5 years 3 years whatever வரும்.
ஃப்ளோட்டிங் ரேட் போட்டால்
போட்டிங்கன்னா 6 months ரிவ்யூவோ 1 month ரிவ்யூ நீ அந்த எக்ரிமெண்ட்லேயும் எத்தனை மந்த்ஸில் ரிவ்யூ பண்ணுறாங்கன்றத பொறுத்து இட் கேன் சேஞ்ச். பட் ஃப்ளோட்டிங் ரேட் வாஸ் வெரி பெனிஃபிஷியல் நோ சூனர் கோவிட் கேம். கோவிட் காலத்தில் 30-28% எல்லாம் போச்சு. அது திடீர்னு 15-16% இறங்கிச்சு. ஸோ அந்த டைம் ஃபிக்ஸ் ரேட் போட்டவங்க நஷ்டப்பட்டாங்க, ஃப்ளோட்டிங் ரேட் போட்டவங்க லாபமாயிருந்தாங்க. பட் இப்போ போகிற ட்ரெண்ட் படி அப்வர்ட் ட்ரெண்ட் ஒன்று இல்லை, நார்மலி ஸ்டேபிளாக இருக்குது. பட் ஃபியூச்சர் கேனாட் பி ப்ரெடிக்டட். ஸோ இஃப் யூ ஆர் கம்ஃபர்டபுள் வித் திஸ் பர்டிகுலர் இன்ஸ்டால்மெண்ட் ஆர் த லீஸ் அமௌண்ட், it's better to stick to a fixed rate. That's my personal opinion.
And also the other way, I am purchasing a vehicle for 22, okay, say 10 million, right? And I am coming for a lease. Now, within 1 year, 1.5 years, something happens to the economy or something happens to the vehicle market that we have. The vehicle drops to, say, 8 million or 7.5 million. இப்படி என்றக்குள்ள நான் உங்களுக்கு கட்டி முடிய போக்குள்ள I would have paid a lot more money தானே. அப்போ எந்த சைடில் அந்த ஒரு பெரிய ரிஸ்க் உண்டு தானே. I am going to lose a lot of money because once I finish paying all that amount and the vehicle will be costing nearly say 12 million and சொல்லி ஆனால் vehicle the reselling value 7 million. அப்போ எனக்கு அங்கே ஒரு பெரிய லாஸ் 5 million லாஸ் வந்து how can you answer, how can you manage that?
As I told you earlier, these agreements are based on offer and
Purpose, acceptance, okay.
offer and acceptance. So we offer you, you accept. So whatever it is, you're accepting it. Vehicle the prices other way around. இப்போ நீங்கள் வந்து வெஹிக்கலை 10 மில்லியனுக்கு வாங்குறீங்க, ஆனால் பீரியட் முடிய போல் 5 மில்லியனுக்கு குறையுது ப்ரைஸ், உங்களுக்கு காஸ்ட் ஆகுது 12 மில்லியன். ஸோ யூ ஆர் லூசிங் 7 மில்லியன். தட் யூ வில் ஹேவ் டு accept. சேம் அதர் வே அரவுண்ட் 10 மில்லியனுக்கு வாங்குறீங்க, 20 மில்லியனுக்கு விற்கிறீங்க, தட் ஆல்சோ யூ ஆர் பெனிஃபிட்டிங். ஸோ பேங்க் இஸ் நாட் கோயிங் டு கெட் எனிதிங் ஃப்ரம் தட். And the other way around also, you're offering and accepting. So it's a neutral game actually.
The risk we will have to bear. That is the acceptance we are.
In case if you are finding it difficult to pay or whatever, then as I told you, the concession, the rebates, future profits, discounting and those stuffs will apply, but it will not benefit you 100%. That for some extent it will help you. So it differs.
I also wanted to ask you this. Okay, பெரிய vehicles எல்லாம் okay, சின்ன vehiclesum இதே sets of rules தானா, இதே sets of rules same
Whatever it is.
do you now earlier வந்து ஸ்கூட்டர்ஸ்க்கு பைக்கு நம்ம லீஸ் கொடுக்கல, இப்போ கொடுக்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறா பிகாஸ் அந்த ஸ்கூட்டர்ஸ் விலையும் இப்போ nearly almost 1 million ஆகுது.
Yeah.
So it applies, that's the same rule applies for scooters also.
Yes.
Scooters, bikes, three wheelers also.
Yes. அதில் அந்த நான் கொடுக்குற பர்சன்டேஜ் வேரிஸ். ஒரு காருக்கு நாங்கள் இப்போ until July 18 we were allowed to grant 80% according to central bank's directions. But after July 18th 2025 we are allowed to grant only 70% for vehicles registered above after 1 year from date. So within 1 year date or unregistered we can offer only 60%. ஸோ அதில் மோட்டர் பைக்ஸுக்கு அப்படி 3 வீலர்ஸ்க்கு இருக்கிற ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன்ஸும் மீக்குது. பட் வி ட்ரை டு கிவ் அ லிட்டில் பிட் லெஸர். தென் காருக்கு 70% நாங்கள் லோன் ஒன்று கொடுக்குறத விட 3 வீலருக்கு கேட்டு வந்தால் இல்லாட்டி 3 வீலர்ஸ் வி கிவ், மோட்டர் பைக்ஸுக்கு வி கிவ் அபவுட் 50%. That become for motorbikes, the profit rate is also high compared to other vehicles.
Okay. இப்போ I'll ask you this something. நிறைய பேர் கேட்குற கேள்வி வந்து தான் என்னென்றால் அந்த BYD வெஹிக்கல்ஸ் தானே, சைனீஸ் வெஹிக்கல்ஸ் பேசிக்கலி. இன்னும் BYD தான் நான் எனக்கு ஸ்ரீலங்காவில் 2-3 மாடல்ஸ் வந்து சைனீஸ்ட்டு BYD-ஓட. ஸோ வாட் யூ திங்க் BYDக்கு ஒருத்தர் இப்போ ஐ டோன்ட் ஹேவ் அ வெஹிக்கல் என்னங்களே, say I own a vehicle, I'm going to sell it and I'm planning to get a new BYD. Is that a good idea? What's your opinion? I know
It's a tricky question actually. For me, in my opinion, BYD is a 50-50 choice for me. Because it's not studied deeply in Sri Lanka yet. Now, if it's a petrol vehicle or hybrid known as a Japanese vehicle, that particular vehicle brand has a market, resale market. Even banks, we prefer to give those type of which has a resale market. BYD, true, it has a very good hype. It has immense of options, like, is command, and Ashkar also, yeah, super looks and everything is there. It's very popular among communities. And now it's becoming very popular also. So BYD is a good replica to replace Tesla. Actually, I would say, in my ways, I see Tesla is not affordable even if it comes to Sri Lanka compared to BYD. So this is at that range they can afford at times, I think so. அப்படி பார்த்தாலும் our community, not only the Muslim community, the entire Sri Lankan community, they're used to some set of vehicles. The marketability also depends on that taste. Now, in European countries, mostly you take black color vehicles are market because there are ice stuff and all. So, when it stores, the vehicle is visible that way. But in Sri Lanka, white color is the most marketable color. That way, that is just only in terms of color. But other ways also there are differences. So BYD for me still it's in a studying part in my terms. So it's a 50-50.
50-50. But BYD mean not only just BYD, but for electric vehicle, government initially 90% எங்கேயோ allow பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க lease.
They stopped it from July 18th and they made it 60%. Unless you have open a LC under your personal name for then you can get up to 90%, but LC should have been opened before July 18th. That was the direction given by central bank. So
now say that I own a vehicle and அது ஒரு கொரோனா சீசனில் வாங்கினது, அதுக்கு வாங்கினது 4-5 இயர்ஸ் நான் பாவிச்சிட்டேன். மைலேஜும் ஆல்மோஸ்ட் 100,000 வந்துருச்சு. Is it a good idea to sell that vehicle and get a brand new vehicle? Your advice on this?
If you had asked me 4 months ago or 6 months ago, it would have been a best option to do it. But nowadays, I am not sure. I think it's a very hype market. So sometimes if unregistered, no sooner it's registered, the values can come down also. So people, if you want unregistered, you are not going to buy a recently registered vehicle. No? So you will also search for unregistered, untouched vehicle. So that way, no sooner it's registered, the values can come down. So that is in my opinion. If it's again, it's on your need only, your interests. But basically, if your vehicle is worn out or like you feel it's high time, it's better to go, but be very selective. In my opinion, it's better to be selective and be price conscious also.
Don't go for BYDs.
No, I won't say that. BYD is a good brand and it has a good hype also.
Right.
But Sri Lankan community compared to BYD, they prefer the Japanese vehicle. That's the only.
Or is it better for me to wait a little bit until this hype calms down, and then after that
No,
I go?
in my opinion, no. In my opinion, if you are decided to go for a vehicle, it's better to go. Because even last month and all, even in my particular bank branch, a lot of people, they sold their gold. We have gold loan facilities also, gold safekeeping. Actually, it's not a loan facility, it's a safekeeping facility. So they settled their gold, they sold it and they bought vehicles. Some people preferred vehicles over gold. So in short, vehicle and gold were compared and gold had the second place in that case.
Because in Sri Lanka, and the vehicle is not, vehicle is definitely an asset here.
Not actually, yeah.
Comparing other countries.
Other terms, it's a liability. But Sri Lanka, they see it as an asset. Yeah. But it's there when you go for the right choice. It should be a proper choice. If not, you will get some, especially European vehicles and all. Some models, they doesn't have second-hand value. You might know. So those vehicles, you will struggle to sell it back.
We touched a lot about vehicle financing. What about the other finance? For an example, conventional fixed deposit. நீங்க சொன்னீங்க, right? Light touch பண்ணிட்டு போனீங்க. Conventional fixed deposit versus Islamic fixed deposit. Are there a difference in
Yes, actually Islamic deposits, the main term we call it mudaraba and wakala.
Okay.
So wakala is it's practice wakala நாங்க ஒரு fixed profit agency profit fix பண்ணுவோம். So that is a fixed rate which we offer, but that is for big sums like more than at least ஒரு 20 million அப்படி FD on the port of minimum 10 million மேல போடுற FDs அதை கொடுக்கிறது. But mudaraba it's a monthly profit share scheme. Every month the profit varies. எங்கட இப்போ நாங்கள் நார்மலி இன்வெஸ்டர் ஃபண்ட்ஸால் நாங்கள் லெண்ட் பண்ணி லோன்ஸ் கொடுத்தோ அந்த இஸ்லாமிக் ஃபைனான்ஸால் வர இன்கம் இருக்கிற அந்த டிஃபரன்சஸோட தான் ப்ராஃபிட் ரேட்ஸ் வேரிஸ். அதில் என்ன டிஃபரன்ஸ் இந்த இஸ்லாமிக் எஃப்டிஸுக்கும் கன்வென்ஷனல் எஃப்டிஸுக்கும் இருக்கிற மெயின் டிஃபரெண்ட் என்னென்னா, now you go to a conventional bank, you place an FD for 10 mil. They are promising you a 12% interest. So every month you will be getting a amount, right? Approximately you will be getting,
or else matured கிடைக்கும் எனக்கு ஒரு 4 years or 3 years or 1 year.
yeah, no, I'm telling you on a monthly basis, monthly profit, monthly take in terms. So அதில் even the bank faces a loss, it's bankrupt, they are liable to pay. That if that's protected, but in that's also according to central bank, they are liable for only 600,000. As I know, at the latest update, whatever more than that you put, it's your own liability. That's a different thing, but the bank has to pay. In terms of Islamic finance, if you put it in a mudaraba, in terms of Islamic finance, if you have a mudaraba fixed deposit, a lot of people doesn't know this, right? So that's I'm telling just for them to have an idea. Mudarabala நீ FD ஒன்று போட்டு the the invest fund manager, we call it the fund manager, the bank will be the fund manager. The fund manager couldn't, they go bankrupt or whatever happens, the FD holder will have to bear the loss. We are not liable to pay you the profit. So it's a profit and loss sharing thing. So in Mudaraba, we have a profit share ratio. Whatever the profits we get, 65%, 35%. The investor gets 65, the fund manager gets 35. That way only the concept works. So some people, they can argue after this is my money, you agreed to a profit, but you are not paying. But according to the Islamic terms, that's there. So those are deep concepts, but people doesn't know. Practically, if we say that you will not get whatever happens to the company, then you will not get the profit, nobody is going to come and invest.
So that is about Islamic and conventional FDs. What about Islamic and conventional insurance policies?
Insurance is different topic actually. Since I was in the insurance industry for 3 years, I know it a bit. So Islamicல there is insurance premiumத்துல 35% they take it into tabarru fund. It depends on the insurance companies, they have different ratios. Tabarru fundல now normally what they do is, in an insurance premium, they split it into two. They take about 60% as investment fund and 40% as tabarru fund, or it goes the other way around. Whatever the ratio, the company wish, they can do it. So through that fund only, they, for example, say 40% they take it to investment fund and 60% to tabarru. So from that 60% fund only, they pay claims. The other 40% they use it for staff wages and stuff. So in the tabarru fund, based on the claim, if there is an excess in Islamic finance, in Islamic insurance, takaful insurance, you say there is a claim. Now the 10 people have contributed to the fund for insurance, and there are 2-3 people only took the claim, and there is a excess also in the fund. So that particular tabarru fund, what they have to do is, they have to take that out, and as a surplus refund, they have to distribute it to the customers who didn't claim. So that's a concept which happens. Normally it happens, but they do it on a annual basis actually. Since general insurance is annual insurance, they do it that way. So that's the...
When it comes to general insurance, then
sorry?
When it comes to general insurance, the main difference is that the tabarru fund method.
Yeah, tabarru fund method is used in Islamic insurance. Takaful.
That is the only difference.
Yeah, conventional, you will not get any refund even you don't claim it. Normally they give a no claim bonus, that's a different thing. But the surplus refund in cash, No claim bonus is a percentage which you don't feel it. Like the premium will reduce, but you won't get cash to your hand. But in Takaful, if you have not claimed and if the Tabar fund is in excess, they have to split it equally according to the premium ratio.
Again, this is also governed by a Sharia board, you said.
Yeah, they have their own Sharia board being insurance companies as well.
Another concept, I saw this. This is like gold keeping, right?
Safekeeping.
Safekeeping.
Yeah.
What about the what is
That's
the Arabic?
Wadia. You call it Wadia. That's a very popular product among the community these days because for small needs even they need they need money. So the quickest and easiest access is gold. Normally in conventional terms we call it gold loan or pawning. But in Islamic finance we call it safekeeping. There are misconceptions also. People doesn't get it right. So when it comes to gold safekeeping, the main concept behind it is it's your article. Now say this is a 5 carat 22 carat sovereign so 22 carat 5 sovereign necklace. You want to keep it and take some money. But in Islamic finance we cannot do that. The main thing is what we do is we take it and we keep it in the safe. For that we charge a safekeeping charges. So out of that only we will be giving. You can either utilize the total amount. That way it happens. The easiest way to explain is you have a necklace or you bring a chain. The chain's assessed value is 1 million. Normally you want only 1 lakh. But in conventional banking you can take only that 1 lakh. We will the conventional profits or whatever the interest will be charged only for the 100,000. But in Islamic finance, for the entire assessed value, you will have to pay the charge, safekeeping charge, because we are safekeeping the entire article. So if if you're expecting money or whatever it is to keep the article in the safe and take the money out or whatever the concept you want, you have to you should make sure that the article the purpose which you need, the value of the money should equalize the article's value. If not, you will lose. That's a main Vadia concept.
எனக்கு தேவையான gold I can come and give it to you and get the money that is equals to that gold
value. ஓ என்ன நார்மலி கம்யூனிட்டியில் எப்படி பார்க்குறதுன்னு சொன்னால் அவங்க 10 லட்ச ரூபாட மாலையை வச்சுட்டு 1 லட்ச ரூபா எடுக்க பார்க்குறது. பட் இஸ்லாமிக் ஃபைனான்ஸில் அந்த 1 லட்ச ரூபாய்க்கு மட்டும் சார்ஜ் வராது. மாலையோட பொறுமதி 1 லட்ச ரூபா 10 லட்ச ரூபாய் தான் 10 லட்ச ரூபாயோட சார்ஜ் படும். அப்போ அவங்க என்ன செய்யணும்னா சின்ன மோதிரமோ காது பூவோ அதை வச்சு அந்த 1 லட்ச ரூபத்தை அவங்களே சேஃப் கீப்பிங்கில் வச்சு கேஷை ரிட்டர்ன் பேக் கொண்டு எடுக்கணும். ஸோ அதுதான் வதியாக்கும் கன்வென்ஷனல் கோல்டுக்கும் இருக்கிற டிஃபரன்ஸ். அப்போ நார்மலி gold is very much booming because நாங்கள் whatever the articles you bring, how much you bring, based on the purity of the gold we give. And that's very cheap also for them in terms of to cover their financial needs.
கன்வென்ஷனலையும் பவுனிங் இருக்குதுல்ல
இருக்குது கன்வென்ஷனில் செய்கிறாங்க. அது நான் சொன்னது அதுதான் மெயின் டிஃபரெண்ட்டுக்கு இருக்குது. எங்கள்ட சேஃப் கீப்பிங் என்ற ஒரு கன்செப்டில் தான் போகுது. பிகாஸ் we cannot give a loan based on this, that there are Shari'a compliance issues.
வதியா it is
Vadia.
அப்போ எல்லா இஸ்லாமிக் ஃபைனான்ஸ்
எல்லார்ட்டையும் இல்லை. Leading banks and Islamic financial institutes are there, but all are trying to get into it, yeah, because it has a good potential.
அதில் பேங்க்குக்கு வர இது என்னது ப்ராஃபிட் என்னது
பேங்க்குக்கு அந்த சேஃப் கீப்பிங் சார்ஜ் தான்.
சார்ஜ்
அதுக்கு நான் வச்சுக்கிற சார்ஜஸ் தான். நான் இனி பேங்க் அக்கௌண்ட்டில் உங்களோட லொக்கர்ஸுக்குமே உங்களோட ஜெம்ஸ் டீடெல்லாம் வைக்கிற லொக்கர்ஸுக்கு தே சார்ஜ் ஃப்ரீ
அந்த
ப்ளஸ் த annual subscription also.
that is
ஸோ அது மாதிரி தான் இந்த கன்செப்டும் போகிற சேஃப் கீப்பிங். we are safe keeping.
that does not depend on how much we are keeping.
No, it depends. In gold, in Vadia, Islamic Vadia, for that only the charge is determined. நீங்கள் சின்ன ஆர்டிக்கல் ஒன்று வச்சா சின்ன சார்ஜ் ஒன்று வரும். எங்களோட நான் சேஃப் கீப்பிங்க்கு எடுக்கிற ரிஸ்க் குறவு தானே. பட் நீங்கள் அதை லோனாக பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இட்ஸ் இஷ்யூ. ஓன்லி லோன் அந்த நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி உங்களோட தேவைக்கு ஏற்ற அமௌண்ட்டை தான் நீங்கள் சேஃபாக வச்சு எடுக்கணும். அப்படி எடுக்கிறது.
Alright. So many things to learn, yeah. Okay, last question. How would you advise a young person who is, say, that completing his A-levels this year, if he wants to get into Islamic finance, or pursue his career in towards this Islamic banking and financial industry pursue medicine. What is the advice that you will give? What should he learn?
Yeah, that's a superb question you asked. Actually, Islamic finance has immense growth potential, immense, especially in Sri Lanka also, and in the South Asia forum also. So there are two main industry governing body, not governing actually, supportive bodies. One is SLIBFI, Sri Lanka Islamic Banking and Finance Institute. They are conducting lot of training programs and this award ceremonies and stuff to recognize Islamic finance achievers. So recently also they had one. So the second thing is IFSA. IFSA is the South Asian Forum for Islamic Finance. That is also a leading forum which happens. Recently it happened in Shangri-La. So leading even ministerial delegates, ministers also from leading countries, Islamic countries also, Maldives, Malaysia, Pakistan, those people came, India, South Asian countries. The South Asia is also broadly looking into this expansion on Islamic finance. Not only that, more than South Asian countries, the Western countries, especially the treasury bills, sukuk, you call it sukuk in Islamic Arabic term. UK also issued their latest treasury bill under sukuk. Even Sri Lanka, they are planning to issue the sukuk treasury bonds, government treasury bills. So those things, when it comes in, it attracts a lot of Middle Eastern and Islamic investors. So that way, government is also planning to attract foreign investments. So even Sri Lankan, as the question you asked for career progression, now, if they get into Islamic finance industry, the potential in Sri Lanka is there, but the immense potential is there in Middle East. So they have like they are mostly recruiting from Sri Lanka, especially. They have good potential. So if he really wants to pursue, it's a good choice, I would say.
What should I learn for that?
For that, you will have to learn the basics of Islamic finance principle. There are courses. There are courses conducted by IBSL also, Bankers Association also they have. There are other UK-based institutes which conduct, and Malaysian, there are a lot of Malaysian-based institutes which conduct Islamic finance. They can find it online. And they can...
Is there any prominent institute where you can name? Okay,
Not really. There are a lot. There are a lot. They can...
and basic Islamic finance center or courses and he can dive into this and
Yes, he will.
our own the potential to climb the ladder.
Yeah, of course. And as I told you earlier, this entire Islamic finance setup is based on relationship and trust. And the relationship mengada face value than main. So the offer, the service we offer, and the trust the client has on us only determines this industry's growth, actually, I would say. Other than it's going on. Namalum based on our word, they get it done. So we should be thorough on the subject. We cannot explain all what I told you. So the customer has that, if he has the trust on us, he can go for it.
Yeah, not only for the potential, it has also the community needs. As you said, if so many countries are going to adopt this Islamic finance concepts, and there is going to be, you're going to have a lot of potential, and also at the same time, you need people who likes to do this as a service also. I mean, earning aside, also to do this as a service for the community, because you are stopping a lot of people from getting into this convention and interest-based transactions and encouraging to do Islamic finance.
And even in 2008, the world's recession, Islamic finance industry was not shaken. That's a mesmerizing part in it. Like they survived the recession.
Thank you so much. A lot of insights, a lot of ideas about Islam. End up misconceptions or area. So thanks for taking time and explaining these concepts for us. So Jazakumullah khair for your